Okay, 8th graders, this is a math lesson for a quiz on lessons 7.3, 7.4, and 7.5. We got a bunch of problems on the board. We're going to go through them. You'll find that they're going to be somewhat similar to what you're going to be facing today. Let's look at this first one. It says 4 less than a number is at most 12. Is at most. Do you remember that one table that had different phrasings like is at most, or more than, less than, is greater than or equals to? You gotta find that table. It's on lesson 7-3 because that's going to help you to solve these problems. Okay, 4 less than a number. I'm going to start with just this part. Isn't that n minus 4 because less than causes us to flip things? And then I know there's a 12 at the end, but the question is what symbol goes here when I look at this is at most? That is at most symbol. Well, is at most means that this can be equal to 12, but it cannot be greater than 12. So I'm going to write it like this. And there's my answer. N minus 4 is at least, is at most 12. Is at most 12. Next one. 3 times a number. That would be 3 times x. Is at least, I'm thinking about that table again. Is at least. What does that mean? That means this is either equals to or greater than the 20. This is at least 20. In other words, it can be greater than 20, but it just can't be less than 20. So here's my inequality for that one. Next one. A number increased by 10, isn't that n plus 10? Is more than 30, is more than, that would be greater than 30. Done. A number increased by 10, n plus 12, is more than, greater than 30. Next one, after a $10 withdrawal, Kim had less than 600 in his account. Well, less than, that makes it easy. Less than 600. Kim had less than 600 in his account. Well, what was his balance? I don't know what his balance is. So I'm going to use a variable and minus 10 because he took $10 out of it, right? His balance, let's use a B for balance instead of N. B for balance, his balance, minus 10, and he took $10 out, is going to be less than the $600 in his account. Okay, how about down here? I got to take this 12, put it right here, and ask myself, is this a true statement? Is 12 minus 10 greater than or equals to 5? The answer to that is no. There's my answer to that problem. Something like this. What if I said graph that? Would you know how to graph it? Well, I'd put 12 in the middle. I'd put 11 here and 13 here. Since it's greater than or equals to, I put a filled in circle. Now I got to decide, would 11 or would 13 make this a true statement? Is 11 greater than 12? No. Is 13 greater than 12? Yes. So that tells me to shade the side that has the number 13 on it. Okay, let's go to this one. I'm going to put negative 10 in the middle. I'm going to put negative 11 here and negative 9 here. What number could I put right here to make this a true statement? Is negative 10 less than negative 11? No, it's not. It's bigger than negative 11. So that means negative 9 would be the correct answer. So I'm going to be shading this side of the problem again. What kind of circle? An open circle, because it's the less than symbol. And finally, if somebody said graph this, if somebody said create an inequality for this, I know I'm going to have an x and a 5, but the question is what symbol? Well, it's open circle, and I'm shading the side that has the number 4. Put a 4 here. 4 is greater than 5, or 4 is less than 5? It's got to be less than, right? Now, is it less than, or is it less than or equals to? Well, with the open circle, that tells me it's less than. Okay, those are some example problems for the 7-3 section. What about 7-4 and 7-5? Well, one of the things you have to remember about 7-4 and 7-5 is that rule about if you're going to do any multiplying or dividing by a negative number, you're going to have to flip a sign. But that's only, remember, that's only when you're multiplying or dividing by a negative number. So if I had a problem like this, negative 10 is less than x minus 5. I'm not going to flip the sign on this. All I'm going to do on this one is add 5 to both sides of the equation because I want to get x by itself, and I end up with negative 5 being less than x. How about something like, say, this problem? What if I have t divided by negative 4 is greater than or equals, how about positive 6? Well, in order to get t by itself, I'm going to have to do the opposite of dividing by negative 4, which is multiplying by negative 4. And I'm going to do it to both sides of the equation. And when I do that, I get t being greater than or equals negative 24. But wait a minute. I multiplied both sides of the equation by a negative number. This is one of those cases where I have to flip the sign. Okay, hopefully that helps you. See you later, 8th graders.